Welcome, Rachel, to show up on video. I know that we talked about you being on the podcast when it was Amp It Up, and we were like, let's just kind of have the same conversation, but video focused. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I know I'm excited to talk about this. I kind of like winging it. So let's get right into it.
I mean, isn't life as a mom of, well, you're a mom of 4 boys, I have 2, and we're entrepreneurs and we're creatives. It's like winging it is our middle name.
And it's summertime. We just got done talking about how, like, what's going on today? Who's on the other side of your door right now that we've locked out? Like, we have like every day is like, oh, great. Sure. I'll just shift and pivot and do that.
And it's so funny. It's so funny because I think I mean, this is not in any way to judge anyone that doesn't have kids or whatever, but I think wherever you are in your situation, you're like, I could never handle that. Like, I could never handle one more. I look at you and I'm like, I could never have 4. I don't know how you do, but when you're in it, you just do it.
Just do it.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So
and
what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I think that motherhood or otherwise, what you're given propels you forward to be able to do all the other things. And for 100%. Me, motherhood just makes me want to do it more because I'm like, I have to show these boys what I'm made of. I have to show them what a woman is capable of. So it kind of makes me want to work harder.
Yeah. Yep. And so, what's so interesting is, I feel like with, business or with being a mom or with, keeping the house running or whatever it is that we're doing as women, as entrepreneurs, every day is a new challenge. Like, we don't know what's I woke up this morning thinking today was just going to be a Tuesday. I had a fully stacked meeting day. And then Oliver wakes up and he's like, I'm not feeling good. Oh crap. And like, I see him, like he's walking around and I have to now multitask and kind of figure it out. So part of it is essentially rolling with the punches. And I think we do that really well. So I want you to kind of share a little bit about you. I, of course, shared a little bit about you in the intro, but tell us how you kind of got into this entrepreneurial game, what you're up to, and a little bit more around that.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting that you say that we wake up every morning thinking we're going to do one thing and we're not actually going to do that thing. Or it's just might look different, because that for me was a massive struggle for a long time. Everything was because I have 4 little boys and I had 3 of them in 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
Not on purpose. So, there's that. But I feel like I have to organize, schedule, time block, since they were born. Otherwise, they will just run me over. And I am a very type A organized person. So it is hard for me to go with it and shift and sway and pivot. But in this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on, that's one of the things that I talk about the most, is that the imperfection of that and the beauty of that and the why, right? And so I came into this journey of, well, I'm a motivation coach, I'm an author, and I'm a speaker now, but I wasn't always that. I climbed a very steep career ladder prior to this, and also spent some years as a stay-at-home mom and burnt out from both of those things.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out that living a beautiful, perfect life on the outside was actually like killing me on the inside. So having it so organized and strict and planned out wasn't working. And it's not what I wanted to show my kids. So now I teach the opposite, that all that success and beauty and quote unquote perfection comes from inside of us, like how we feel about ourselves as mothers and women.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you're saying this, if you see in the reflection right there, do you see what's happening right now? And I'm like, I can't handle this. Like, you can't write this because we're talking about it. And Oliver, who's never home, and when he is, he usually doesn't bother me. Oliver, honey, I'm actually recording a live podcast. So you need to go look at me, sweetie. I'm going to obviously maybe I don't take this out. Maybe this is part of the show.
Nope, I think it is.
You need to go. Okay. You need to go inside until the end of this. I'll be done in like 30 minutes. No, you cannot do it in here.
Get a snack.
Oh yeah. You can get a lollipop.
See, there you go.
Or an ice cream. Popsicle. but
There
you
go.
have to stay in there and I'm coming in there in 30 minutes.
See?
Love you.
That was really good.
Was it?
Yes.
I'm like, why? And I
know.
mean, it's
I know.
okay.
It's okay. It's Murphy's Law. I'm like, who the hell is Murphy? Like, who actually
My
is Murphy?
dog. My dog's name is
all
Murphy,
right.
and he screws me.
Well, I mean, honestly, like that just happens, right?
I know. I know.
I don't understand. It's like the thing I'll never understand. And I swear to God, I'm going to figure out who Murphy is and why he does all these things to us.
But let me ask you a question, Rachel. So it's so interesting because I don't want to say like as moms, a lot of times we're like martyrs, right? And we kind of come down on ourselves like it's so hard and this is so much work and whatever. Because I think secretly there's like, we kind of thrive off the chaos and off the multitasking. And, you know, I have to say, I enjoy in a sick way because I complain about it, but I enjoy the craziness of our lives and our days. I don't mind throwing in a podcast in my ear and, you know, doing all the dishes and the laundry in the evenings. Like, what am I going to do? Sit on the couch and just like watch TV? That's awful to me.
Yeah. I think it's easier for mothers to look at ourselves like martyrs, because when you think about historically, our society has made mothers to look like martyrs.
Yeah.
The physical image of mothers, you change once you become a mother, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden you're tired all the time. You don't take care of yourself.
You're last.
Yes. Your outings are like, let me walk through Target alone. I'm like, and so when you talk and think about the young women, and they have asked me, I've been asked this question, like, oh my God, motherhood looks so hard. I don't think I want to become a mom. And I'm like, oh my God, we're doing this all wrong.
Totally.
We're sharing on video all wrong. It's funny for us to look at memes and video of moms joking and making fun of motherhood, because there's a lot of those moments and we both know them as mothers. And so we can laugh about them. But when you think about the 20 and 30 somethings that don't have kids yet, that are considering that, but all we're doing is making it look like
hell
shit show. Yeah. Why would they ever want to do that? And so I'm like, oh, hold on just a minute. Like you're looking at this all wrong.
So this is actually a really great kind of segue into video, since this is what, you know, the focus is here. Mom content on social media in general. Let's talk about that, like as a whole. The first of my memory of being introduced to any sort of mom content on social media was Cat and Nat. Now, I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah.
So this is like 4 or 5 years ago. It's kind of the first time I remember seeing content just for moms, like social media creator type content. Then of course I was reading blogs and stuff, but in terms of videos, I wasn't seeing many videos at that time. And I thought they were, and I still love them, funny, and they make light of things and they don't take themselves too seriously. And I think that's the kind of energy, but they say it like it is, in my opinion. And I think they're funny and great.
Yes. I love that about them.
But then you go over to, I mean, the Instagram mom is a whole different culture than like just say the TikTok or the YouTube mom. What are your thoughts on that? And like, when did you kind of start noticing that was a true piece of content out there?
Yeah. Well, actually, I sort of noticed the opposite first, and it might've been the industry that I was in. Also, I was in the interior design world. So the influencers that we worked with, the moms that we worked with shared what was perfect and beautiful and pulled together. Right. And to be fair, that was their job. That's what they were being paid to do. So I respect that. Absolutely. However, when you go onto social media, like Instagram, let's say, and you aren't knowledgeable about the space, perhaps you are lacking confidence. Your house is a disaster. You haven't washed your hair in 10 days. Your kids don't match, right? There's laundry everywhere. And that's the content that you see. That's all the content that was being put out there for a long time, in my opinion. And that is where I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That is not real. I'm not going to sit here and be a martyr and necessarily show you my laundry everywhere. I don't like laundry everywhere. So that typically doesn't happen in my house.
Yeah. We're not going to overdo it.
Right,
and
we're not going to pretend it's the other way.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to show up real. And that is when I started really being like, wait a minute, there needs to be more mothers and women showing up with what's real, because what's real is actually really fucking beautiful. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're moms. And we're also putting ourselves out there in this world in a professional way, talking about our marriages, talking about our friends, and talking about our personal growth, because this is still our life.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, that's what I used to see. And I do see it shifting though, which I think is really great.
Yeah. It's almost going from a place of absolute impossible, unrealistic perfection to an almost curated mess.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such a hot mess today. I'm a hot mess mom in my Lululemons and like my hair in a perfect messy bun. And like, buy this at 10% off. I'm so hot mess.
Yeah.
And then now I notice, and I think it's TikTok. I think TikTok has opened up a whole new world, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, we should
have TikTok being really a place for people to show up exactly as them and find their people. And, I saw a piece of content, and this is kind of like sat with me. I don't even know who the creator was, but it was something I had never seen before on online, never, unless I was watching a TLC show. Okay. And basically what it was this woman who had a toddler, and she had a baby. There's a bug, and she had a baby. And she lived in a non-aesthetically pleasing house, like an apartment, very dark, kind of depressing looking vibe, 100%. And I saw the video on my For You page because it was hugely popular. It was getting a ton of views. And what she was doing was she was like, I'm making myself accountable. I have given up in my home. This is what it looks like. And I need you guys to keep me accountable so that I start to clean it up. And she started to film her rooms. And this is, a newly nursing, like 6-week-old baby mom with a toddler and a husband that works all the time. And her house was understandably a mess, but it wasn't like a fake mess. It was for real. And you could tell, like, there was dishes in the sink. The baby was like, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, this is not the content I really want to see, but it's also like incredible that moms are feeling brave enough to be able to kind of show up in that way.
Yeah, that actually gave me the shivers a little bit, because I feel like it's almost, I know that you feel this way, but I am like this, the Instagram-ness of the world it's going to end. It's going to end. And so all of these creators,
already kind of starting, it's like starting to end, I think.
Yeah, it is. Right. And and I feel like, even I, like 2 years ago, used to spend so much time and putting so much pressure on myself to create for Instagram. I'm like, why? Because publishers for my book want to see my numbers grow. Okay. But now they could all be fake numbers. And like, I actually want to do the reverse of that. I don't care about how many followers I have. I want to have a really, really good community of people around me, because that is actually what our lives are about. And that's what I speak about. So content like the one you just said is really opening up an opportunity for the rest of us to use social media in a very new way.
Yeah.
In a way that perhaps helps, and that helps each other and actually connects each other. Because I think that that's the claim that Facebook and Instagram have had forever. Like, we're going to connect everybody. And that might've worked, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, but it's not working anymore. And I know a lot of really beautiful, highly successful, creative people who are not on Instagram at all anymore, because they're like, this used to be a place of inspiration. And now it is a place of fake and memes.
Well, really what Instagram has done, and I'm obsessed with learning about this and kind of the back chatter about this, but Instagram has really changed the algorithm so that I don't care if you're a scientist, a physician, an architect, a doctor, like whatever it is that you do. I'm trying to think of like smart things, an engineer, anything that you do, the only way to be seen was all of a sudden you had to dance. Like all of a sudden, everyone, I don't care if you've had 17 PhDs, the only way to get seen was to do some silly trend or like point. It's insane, actually, if
Yeah,
you think about
no,
it. Whereas like
it
the real
is.
true talent in us as human beings and as creators, as mothers, as writers, as speakers, as authors, as whatever is us, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden
Right.
we're all conforming to be like
Yes.
robotic
Yes. I was
aliens.
going to say like, and it's funny. I talk about this in my speech a lot. Like we have lived in a box for so long for motherhood specifically. We've lived in a box thinking
Yeah.
we should do it this way. We should do that. We should do this. Like that's all we do. And I don't do trends on social media unless I really like them. And I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so much fun. And then I force one of my children to do it with me and then we do it.
Same.
Otherwise I'm like, that just like, that doesn't feel good to me. And so I'm not going to do that just because I should do that to get more likes and followers. That's stupid. I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's, but it reminds me of Clubhouse because you and I met on Clubhouse. And Clubhouse, for those of you that are listening that don't know, I think most people probably kind of know, but it was a social audio app. I say was because no one really uses it. At least
bizarre, right?
At least the good ones don't use it. But this is what's so interesting and why I bring this up. What was our goal on Clubhouse? It was to grow.
Yep.
Obviously to make connections, and we did make great connections,
I agree.
to grow our programs, to grow our leads, to grow our followers. And I remember we had 10K parties when people would hit 10K on Clubhouse. We were like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the one, because you grew so fast, so strong, so incredible. Instagram numbers were going off. Everything was so like in abundance. And then like record scratch, it was over. And now no longer anyone really even goes on that app. Like, for me to tell someone in true honesty, like I have 20,000 followers on Clubhouse, it's like, it's basically saying like, I have a candle, like who cares, right? It doesn't matter. And so Instagram is so interesting. We put so much energy into growing this fake thing. What is it?
Right. Right. I think I think it's the most bizarre thing. But then when you use that in the publishing world and in the speaking world, and you can speak to the speaking world also, but what are your social numbers?
Yeah.
What are your followers? And I'm like, hi, I'm not doing that. And so it's such a catch-22 that I think that normal people like us are catching on to, but perhaps big business is not, because it still is a way, and a really great way, to generate money. I have a private Facebook group. I get far more leads, clients, connections, friends, like real person friends from that group than I do from Instagram. Hands down.
Well, I think there's also something to be said about, the Facebook group, and we can talk about that, but Facebook groups in general, if they're run well and if they maintain like life, because so many of them just die. I have a magic touch with Facebook groups. I create them, they die. If you can keep a Facebook group alive, it can be some of the best, most engaging community, which I can't find other places. I can't find on Slack. I can't find on Discord. I can't find on Mighty Networks where I am, my community. I haven't yet found it. And I think it's because most people, even me, who doesn't even like Facebook that much, I check it every day. I'm always there. Whereas, Instagram, there's not a hub where you see other people's comments and stuff and you can go back and forth. The only way you can do that is commenting on one post. It feels very disconnected.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not a huge Facebook fan either, except now as I'm using it in this, I don't think it's pretty. And I really like my things to be pretty. So, I'm like, I don't want all the ads. Like, I don't.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that really fast. You want your things to be pretty.
I do.
So are you, when you are creating content on Instagram, just say, because if you want things to be pretty, when did you start to kind of get rid of this idea that everything needed to be perfectly curated on Instagram and just, you could show up as you? I'm looking at your Instagram page right now.
Yeah.
And it looks very you. It's like very casual. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
It's not in any way, it doesn't feel in any way perfectly curated. Right.
I think that's part of it's my personality, is that I'm just like, look, this is what I want to do. This is what I have to say. And I know that I need to do that because it's important for my business. And so it's not gonna be perfect. Like my hair, I'm not gonna have makeup on. I don't use filters on Facebook or on Instagram. I don't, maybe on a picture here and there to do for lighting, but like otherwise I don't even really know how. And I know that I could 100% hire someone like you to do all and teach me all that stuff. But I'm like, that I actually don't really care about it being perfect like that.
You do not need to
I
hire
still
anyone
want it
to
to be,
learn filters.
I still, yeah. Well, but I still want it to be pretty and organized and uncluttered,
Yeah.
you know? And so I feel like Instagram does a better job of keeping your things uncluttered than Facebook does.
Interesting, because you can kind of see it all at once. And I think that
Yeah.
that's the difference. Like a
Yeah.
Facebook feed or a Facebook group, you have to really do the scroll. Whereas on Instagram right now on the desktop, I'm seeing all your
That's
stuff,
it.
top
Yep.
9 at least.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, what is the difference? How are you creating content on, well, why don't you kind of, obviously you talk about motherhood. What is your video content about usually?
Yeah. Um, real life. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the groups that I run it through my motivational coaching is exercise based and food based, because I believe that when we take care of ourselves, not getting a pedicure and like drinking a glass of champagne, those are like just weekly occurrences that should always happen to get us to neutral. But like, I don't have any desire to live at neutral. So my groups that I run monthly are taking us to the next level, which is taking care of ourselves every day so that we can, and I know you could speak about this too, because I know that some of your content is around the same stuff. And that's why
it's very important. It's so
that's why we have
important.
energy. That's why how we can show our kids how to take care of themselves by us actually doing it. So I teach people how movement and food actually propels their businesses, their partnerships, their children's lives forward. So my Facebook group is, you know, big for me. There's 600 people in it, but then some of them can offshoot off to smaller private groups here and there, however the month is going. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when you're creating content on your Instagram, do you kind of focus, do you tend to focus a little bit, or TikTok too, because I know you're on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Do you kind of focus on a content pillar like scenario? Do you think about like, okay, I can either talk about this, or this, basically.
So here's what I do. And part of these, you know, ideas came from when I worked with you.
Yeah.
Is that I used to have it all written down. Like on Monday, I have to do this, and Tuesday I'm going to shoot that. And it was like, what in the hell? No. And that's not me either. I want to be like, no, actually this morning I just thought of this and this is what I want to talk about. So I'm going to do it on a live. Or I'm constantly taking pictures, taking videos, constantly
documenting.
And documenting, just even if I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but it feels important, or the lighting is good, or I'm in the mood to take pictures. And then I move them to a social, you know, just a little, like a little separate group in my photos. And then if I'm feeling like, you know what, I really want to say something on social today, but I don't have an image or whatever for it, I just go through and I'm like, oh my God, like I should add this one and this one and this one. So it knocks the time in half of when and how I can create. And I don't plan anything anymore. I show up almost every day, usually on Instagram. Sometimes I'm getting better on TikTok, and in Facebook. But other than that, I just know that I'm going to show up. Like, that's it. I've taken the should out of it. Yeah. And I've just made it more fun. And also when I know that Instagram goes down, like really down, then I don't have to be like, oh my God, I just wasted all that time. Because it's not, I'm having fun and I'm showing up.
And also, by the way, you're creating, because I remember when I worked with you, which was earlier in the year, so maybe January, February or something. I don't remember you creating constant video content. I don't remember that being a thing. So what that shows you is the more you do, and I teach this all the time, the more you do, the more you'll do. It is habit inducing. It's just like our workouts. And I think, you know, some people are just, it's impossible for them to stay consistent with video content because why? A, they're overthinking it and trying to make it too perfect or hard. B, they're not getting those instant results, like that ROI right away. Maybe you're not getting as many followers or views or whatever. So you're like, it's not working. Or C, you're just not prioritizing it. But unfortunately, well, I say fortunately in my life, but unfortunately for people that don't like to create content, there's literally no way to market your business without video. So
Yeah.
you got to get over this like fear or this whatever. And part of your brand, Rachel, is imperfection, right?
Mhm.
So it would be crazy if every single video you created was perfect.
Yeah, that's not me.
No.
And two, I think what you just said, what if people shifted from the I'm doing this for likes and followers and views to I'm doing this because I don't care what business you're in, you have to learn how to tell a story, how to communicate, how to talk to people. And so if it's just a mental shift of saying, I feel like I should create video because I need X amount of views. But what if it was just like, I need some more practice.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to show up. Wow, my hair really doesn't look good like that. So I shouldn't do that on my next interview or whatever the case is. We all need that in our personal and professional lives to be better communicators. So just use it as
100%.
practice.
And there's also like a saying about, not a saying, but a technique that I give to, and this is something that I learned back when I was casting, is a lot of times, you know, when the camera goes on, people get nervous and it immediately freaks them out. And it's just kind of like a mental shift. And instead of thinking I'm creating this video, I'm about to press record because I want to post a video online or because I want to create a reel, just say like, I'm creating the video for myself. It's a video diary. I am not posting this. Take the pressure off of the post and just think about what you want to share. I agree. This is something that is going to be a skill, getting on video and being comfortable on video, sharing who you are, what you do, sharing, you know, solving problems, talking to your audience, etc., is a skill that will lead you in good places in every place in your life, like meeting people at parties, speaking on a stage, right? Being on a podcast.
Yeah. Did you, I just listened to the We Can Do Hard Things with Natalie Portman. Have you listened to that one? Okay.
Not yet.
It was really great. And I feel like I don't really know what Natalie Portman's doing in her life right now, but she's a darling and now I do. And so whatever, but she said one thing that really stuck with me. I wrote it down because the director that she worked with on Black Swan said, you know, they would do these takes over and over and over again to get the video perfect or get the scene perfect. And then he would say, now do one for you. And every single time that one would be the best one. Because and the one that they would end up using. Yep. It's just the pressure of thinking that you should do something the way somebody else is going to think about it, view it, like it or not. Like if we start doing things for ourselves that come from the inside, what feels really good to us, then it actually doesn't really fucking matter what anybody else says. And that's going to be the best one that comes out.
100%. It's so, I mean, that applies in sports, that applies in like, remember, I mean, I posted a video of my son with his piano and the second I was like, you don't have to do it. He's like, nope, I'm going to go back up there and do it. And I think, even when it comes to video content in general and the way, you know, and I talk about this often, TikTok is really becoming more of a search feature rather than like a Google, right? So a lot of people, and I do this already, especially with recipes. I don't know if you do this. So like the other day I wanted to air fry salmon. I didn't Google air fry salmon. I went to TikTok. Why? Because I know it's going to show it to me. It's going to show me the best, most amazing salmon probably out there rather than some like old food blog that I don't know. And it's going to be a video. And it's going to have the recipe and it's going to be a 3-minute or less. And it's going to show me and it's going to be like a tutorial, right?
God, I do not use that at all, but now I'm going to. I don't use it like that, but I will.
Oh my God.
Okay.
If you want organization hacks, if you want recipes for sure. I do it for like Canva hacks. Okay. TikTok is the search platform now. And what's cool about it and what's not cool about it. So a lot of us assume that when we post content, it either does really well or not so well. And you know, pretty right off the bat. Like, especially with TikTok, it used to be that if you posted a video and you didn't have that many views the next day, it's kind of like, okay, that video is dead in the water. Well, the way that it's working now is that it's not really about getting that instant virality. Some of those videos get instantly viral, like if something crazy happens or something really sad or happy or whatever. Most videos, it's a slow build because you're building kind of like a resource library, like YouTube, right? You can right now go on YouTube and find a video from 2017 and watch it. And so TikTok will become that. So if the pressure of having to get a video that does really well right away is gone.
Right. It's showing up, period.
It's
Show
just
up.
being there and
Yep.
having a place for people to find what they need when they need it. So like if someone was struggling with motherhood and I see a video of you right here about, I mean, I'm not watching it, but it says some days I'm focused entirely on my work. And I imagine that the video is that some days you're not, right?
Not, that's right.
So on TikTok, if someone wants to say like working mom, like they need that support and they find you, even if you posted that video 6 months ago and it
Right.
only
They
has
would still find
300
it.
views, you're still there.
Would you say that you are on TikTok more than Instagram now?
Without a doubt, 100%. And you know
Wow.
what? So are most users. So the average user, this is going to blow your mind. The average user spends 118 minutes per time on TikTok, multiple times a day.
Oh my God.
Now, I can easily spend 2 hours on TikTok if I don't like force myself to get off. It is so good. And the For You page is so enthralling that it always shows you the content you want to see. Whereas on Instagram, if you're watching stories, which by the way, like I will only search certain people's stories out usually because I don't like a lot of people I follow. I'm like, I don't really want to watch your stories.
Yeah.
The feed, I do not sit and go through the feed on
No,
Instagram. I don't know if you do.
either.
And then the
Absolutely.
real feed, real REEL,
Yep.
is content that is absolutely not for me,
Right.
not serving me whatsoever.
Right.
It's
I agree with that.
it's doesn't fit me.
Yeah.
So I'm gone. I usually see 3 reels and then I'm out. So
Mhm.
your time spent on app in general, like as users, Instagram is definitely losing the
Yeah.
game.
I would say that I only go through stories and probably, I don't know, 8 to 10, and then I'm done.
I know. So
And
you're not the
you and
only
I were
one that
talking,
feels that way.
you and I were talking on the back end the other day because you posted something like, hey, like all of a sudden I'm getting all of these views and all the on my reels and whatever, but like 90% of the people don't follow me. And I mean, like I will put a reel, like in the last, I would say week or so, I think I did 2 or 3 reels. And I only know this because like I have my watch, because usually, I mean, like we're hauling ass. I'm not sitting, like we just said, we're not sitting on Instagram. So I'll put up a reel and it's like Saturday and I've got like 8 baseball games. I'm like, okay, done with that. Like moving on. I'll check it later once. But my watch is blowing up like crazy from all these like likes. I'm like, what? Like what? That, like I'm not like this is not. I'm not actually going viral, you know. And it's again, it's all these people that
And you looked at the
don't.
likes and you didn't recognize any of their names.
I mean, some of them I did. I would say probably maybe 15%.
Yep.
But that's it. And I'm like, but I don't know. And then when you click into people's names, it's private. They have 3 posts. I'm like, okay, so you're probably not my ideal client. You don't want to be my friend. You like don't want to hang out. So what are you doing?
What's the point?
Who are you?
And then also, well, and I noticed this. I mean, like I'll gain followers every day on Instagram, but as a whole, I'm losing followers. And I talk about this
Agreed.
In an episode, a previous episode. It's called "Should I Break Up with Instagram?" But the reason why is because what's happening is my likes are people that don't follow me. Oliver's back. My likes are people that don't follow me. They'll like me, but they'll not press follow. So that makes me say, okay, this is not real. Because if you're not following me and so many people like the content, you would follow.
Right. Agreed.
But that's the way it works for me too. I also don't follow people on Instagram anymore. Hey, Oliver.
Popsicle's done.
5 minutes. Anyway, we're wrapping up in a minute. So Rachel, tell us what's going on with you. I know that you've got a book going on. You've got speaking going on. Share with us so we can all hear.
Yes, I do. I am working on a 3rd book to come out in the next year and a half, probably. And like I'd mentioned earlier, I run monthly groups that sort of focus on like the inside out of our confidence and our power and our energy. And that is really my focus right now. My speaking is taking, I would say like a month or 2 off, right? For summertime. Like I'm not traveling for speaking right now or anything like that, but definitely we'll ramp that up in the fall. So I love to connect about all things imperfection and failure and how we teach ourselves to do that, how we teach our kids to handle those kinds of things. Burnout. I'm so sick of talking about burnout and fixing burnout. Like, can we just like actually take action in our lives to understand burnout and where that comes from? So you can find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you can also, we can probably put my website in the show notes and you guys can find me there.
I think just motherhood in general, just like entrepreneurship, just like anything that we're into, we want to talk about it with other people. I'm obsessed with reality shows. And so I love my Facebook group all about reality TV with Kate Casey. I love all of my, like, you want to, it's like being on a group chat with girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's so essential and so important because it's so easy to get kind of caught up in like the spiral of like, oh, it's so hard or whatever. So what you're doing is amazing. Just making sure that other moms are feeling better about not being perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, you are amazing, Rachael. I always love chatting with you. And you guys, yeah, for sure, check out Rachael over on Instagram. The link is going to be in the show notes and her website, and see what's going on with her. If you're a mom, you're going to love her content, her adorable family. And, if she can do it, mama four boys.
Anybody can.
I mean, to be a mama four boys is award winning.
Well, let's see. Let me get them up and get them out of the house and then we'll see.
Yeah, but you know what? My sister, she has 2 older kids and they spent 5 weeks away at summer camp, sleepaway. And she was like, wow. I actually panicked a little bit towards the end. Like, what am I going to do when they actually grow up and leave?
Yeah.
Like,
when the house is quiet, I'm like, what do I do right now? Like, I don't actually know what to do with my life.
And you want to enjoy it, but it's almost like,
yeah.
Like there's a guilt involved in enjoying it.
Scramble around organizing random drawers. I'm like,
wait,
that's what I do.
Oliver and Dylan did a sleepaway at camp and I spent the entire day organizing his closet.
Right. Yes, that's what I do. I just pull out uniforms and I'm like, everybody's gone. I guess I better hurry up. Like,
mom life.
Why? And I teach to not do that. So I'm like, Rachael, no. Anyway, okay, we're all.
Oh my God. Well, I love you, Rachael. So good chatting with you. All your links will be in the show notes, and you guys make sure to follow Rachael, mom or not. Enjoy it. Thanks so much, Rach.
Yep. Bye.